Just getting set. Trying to get the light in the right position. Make yourself known if you're here, by the way. I can see 5 people. Light quite right in the right place. Is that okay? Does that look all right? I'm kind of half blinded by the light. It looks okay from my end. Okay. Hello. Hello. It's November's parish meeting time. 7 of you here. Hi, guys. Make yourself known. Who are you? Who's come to say hello this month? I nearly said week again. I can't get used to that. Good evening, Vince. No, I can't believe it's been a month either. Hello, Jamie. That's good. We've got 10 people in already. We'll get started as usual at 10 past with the first thing. Oh, Lauren's coming to say hello. Just so you know, Nikki will be in this episode, but not for the whole thing. Nikki had a COVID booster on, was it Thursday you had it?
No,
Saturday you had it. And it's kind of knocked her for 6. So, yeah, I'm on my own for some of this. Although Lauren's come to say hi. You haven't seen Lauren for a while, have you? Say hello, Lauren.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
You're supposed to say, when it says say hello, Lauren, you're supposed to say hello, Lauren. And you do exactly as it says, saying hello, Lauren.
How are we all anyway? Are we enjoying this wonderful weather? Because I'll tell you what, I'm not. There's been quite a few rainy days just lately, and I've not been walking around in them, which has been a good thing. But of course, that doesn't mean to say I'm not going to be. I mean, I'm going out tomorrow, and it's forecast rain, so I might get wet. It's you know what bothers me more than the rain is actually the wind. It's the wind howling in your face as you're walking around. That's something I can't really deal with. The rain's fine. I'm used to all weather, but yeah, it's not very nice out there. So yeah, the Mrs. TVI spin-off. You people are enjoying that, it seems, because there's been 4 videos now. Yeah, 4 videos now, which Nikki has made. 3 with her GoPro, by the way. It's always good to have a GoPro, I think. But I would say that because all my videos are made with my GoPro. You guys seem to be enjoying that, those little cemetery tours. I sound a bit funny, like I'm down a well. Do I? I don't understand why. Everything's set up as it normally is, Alice. It might be your speakers or something in your equipment.
No, it does sound a bit, but it's because you've got your microphone is far away from you.
Oh, it might be. Well, we'll get a bit closer. How about that if I get a bit closer? Is that a bit better? Are we good? Can you hear me now? Do I sound civil? There's a couple of people wanting you, I think, Nikki. There's some Hello Mrs. TVIs in here, so that's good. Did anybody watch my Tales from the Village Green earlier about the Battle of Marston Moor? Seems to have got a few views on it, which is good. I'll just read it just before I came online here. I got a comment on it, which was interesting. Let me just find it for a second because it's hold on. The guy basically says that even though the parliamentarians won the battle, which they did, it was actually the Scots that were the ones that effectively won the battle for them. Oliver Cromwell got injured very early on in the battle, apparently, and left to have his wounds seen to. None of that stuff was said in the article / thing I used to make that video. It just had a little description of it and what happened and all that. I just went with that. I can't obviously I can't guarantee every source is right, but to be fair, it's not wrong because the parliamentarians did win that battle. It was interesting that standing next to that memorial because it's like I said at the end of the voiceover, you stand there for a while and there's not many cars come up that road. It's kind of isolated. It's in the middle of nowhere above Long Marston. and you stand there and you hear the wind, and with it being cold and that, it just felt eerie, you know. Every time I go to a battlefield, it does feel eerie. So, okay, good. I'm glad to see some people some people watched it. That's good. I'm enjoying making the Tales froms. Actually, they're really good. I mean, they're only 2.5 minutes long, so they're not excessive. Not like a big town. I walk around a big town, but there's some little tidbits of information which I'm sure you guys like. I actually recorded that one on the way from. I was in the East Riding on Saturday, and I had to get across to Leeds, and so from where I was in the East Riding, it was basically going across York. So I thought, what can I catch on the way towards Leeds? And that was one of the things I found. So just a bit of bonus filming, I suppose. When am I doing Brig? That will be done. I can answer that question, Helen. That will be done in a couple of weeks' time, but it won't come out. The video won't be out on the channel until early next year, because I already know the order of how North Lincolnshire is going to finish, because there's not many left in it. And Brig will be one of the first ones which comes out in 23. There'll only be 6 left by the time we hit Christmas in North Lincolnshire, and Brig is one of them. So yeah, it will be coming. Do you always know in advance of going somewhere if it will have something for a Tales from the Village Green, or are there sometimes things found by accident? It's a bit of both, actually. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. For example, the Tales from episode that was about the water towers in Swanland, I knew I was going to be starting at that water tower for that particular route. And so I sort of decided on the way up there that I would make a Tales from about water towers. I had time. But sometimes I don't. If I find something that's interesting, then I just go with it. But it's a bit of both. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Oh, Lauren's got the cat. Here's Angel. You've not seen Angel for a bit. Hello, Angel. Say hello to everybody. Hi, Andy. I sent a link to the Rawdon episode to a relative who was on the Rawdon Parish Council. Oh, that's interesting, Norman, because you're from Newark, aren't you? Obviously, Rawdon's Leeds, so that's good. You never know who's got connections to other parts of the country. I'll let you into a little secret here on that theme. I've got, every time I put a video out, it doesn't matter what Facebook group I put it in, there's always this one guy called Keith who always likes it. He seems to be in every single group that I'm in. So I'm not quite sure how or why, but obviously he's got connections everywhere and he does like my stuff. So yes, indeed. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Keith, indeed. Do you have a method to promote locally? How do you mean a method, Norman? I'm not quite sure about that. Not sure what you mean by that. I've got 17 people in now. That's good. We'll get started properly in a moment. The first thing on the agenda is my 2023 plans. If you watched the parish notice board on Sunday, i.e. yesterday, you'll know all about this. But I'm well aware that not everybody does watch the parish notice board. The regular viewers do, I know, but not everybody does. So I will explain to people here again what my plans are for next year. What did you say? Oh, sorry, I thought Nikki was talking to me there. So, oh yes. There you go, Penny. There's the cat again. Her name is Angel, by the way, for people who haven't seen her before. Yes, Angel by name, but certainly not by nature. Certainly not by nature. Certainly not by nature. Right, shall we get going then? So 2023 plans. I know some of you know this already, but I will go over this all again. So next year I'm going to be quite busy, standard. These are the places I'm going to be going to. So on Mondays, the West Lindsey series will continue to its conclusion. If I plan it right, and I think I probably can, if I know what I'm doing, the last West Lindsay episode will be the last Monday before Christmas next year. There are about 50-ish left to go. I think it's 50 exactly, actually. I don't know without looking, but I should be able to get them all in on Mondays. So if I plan that right, West Lindsay will be done by the end of 23. Which, yes, Nikki said, as long as we don't lose another monarch or have an extra bank holiday for whatever reason. We have got an extra bank holiday for Charles's coronation, by the way. I don't know whether you know that, but we have. That's on May the 8th. So, yes, West Lindsay will finish next year, all being well. Which means that at the start of 2024, I'll be able to start East Lindsay, which is going to be quite the challenge. There's 188 in East Lindsay. It's a big old part of Lincolnshire, and a part that I know fairly well. Does anybody out there know East Lindsay? The likes of Mablethorpe and Skegness and Louth and Alford and Horncastle and Woodall Spa and Partney, Burley Marsh, Maltbula Marsh. Loads of places out there. Really tiny ones, a lot of them as well. So, yeah, 188 out there. So that's the plan for Mondays next year. Now, Tuesdays, Newark and Sherwood. That will continue until it's finished. I've got 33, as things stand, left to go to. There's more than 33 which you haven't seen because there are some which are already made and ready to come out. Now, when I get to the end of Newark and Sherwood, it will be taken over by another Lincolnshire district, and that is North Kesteven. Lots of people have been asking me for North Kesteven for quite a while, so I've kind of had to bite the bullet a little bit and go for it. So there are 75. You will see one North Kesteven episode before this year is out. It will be the last Tuesday of this year, where you'll see Beckingham, which was a fun one. Because that's, if you know Beckingham, I'm pretty sure you do, some people in Newark, that's got a big rifle range, loads of signs on the A17 saying gunfire noise. So, yeah, they're not aiming at you. If you drive past, I tell you that, they're not aiming at you. It's funny, actually, I've actually been on those ranges before. They're massive. They're absolutely massive. You wouldn't believe how big they are. So yeah, North Kesteven will take over from Newark and Sherwood, and that will run then into 2024. Wednesdays. Now, this is probably the most complicated of the days. So when we hit Christmas this year, there will be 6 left in North Lincolnshire. They will be the first 6 in 23 on Wednesdays. After that, I will go into Northeast Lincolnshire, and yes, there is a difference. So Northeast Lincolnshire is basically everywhere around Immingham, Grimsby, and Cleethorpes. So seasidey places. Yeah, Clegg, as we call it. We call
fish chips up there.
Cleethorpes. Yes, we have an affinity with Cleethorpes. We call it Clegg. Although you won't see Cleethorpes, by the way, because that's an unparished area. Sorry, but you won't see any Cleethorpes Pier or anything like that.
Not on the channel, but we'll.
I don't know whether you heard that, but Nikki said we'll go there for fish and chips and we'll see the sea, because Nikki loves the seaside, but you can't get her away from the place. Anyway, so I'll power my way through Northeast Lincolnshire. It won't take me long. When I finish that, there will still be some of the year left afterwards. And so I will go into Derbyshire and I will start Amber Valley properly. Now, when I say I start Amber Valley properly, you will actually see a couple of Amber Valley episodes before the series actually starts, because next month, December, we've got an event down in Alfreton to go to, and I'm going to take advantage and film a couple of Amber Valley episodes while I'm down there. So you'll see those on Free for All Sunday, I would have thought, but way before the Amber Valley series starts properly. So you will see a couple of those next year before that. That's Wednesdays, and that will then run into 24 yet again. Thursdays. Now, Bradford. There are 20 episodes to make in Bradford, and I know nothing about Bradford at all. I've just planned the first 4 episodes today, earlier. And yeah, I've probably picked the 4 easiest ones to start with. Problem is, Problem is, they are actually quite big in and of themselves, so it's only going to get harder. So Bradford is going to be quite a challenge, but I think I can do it. When I finish Bradford, Thursdays will then become a free-for-all for the rest of the year. And if you didn't watch the parish notice board on Sunday yesterday, I'll explain why in a moment. Fridays. So Fridays, the York series will start in a couple of weeks' time before Christmas. That will carry on into the new year. When York is finished, I will replace it with Harrogate. And Harrogate's got 139, so that's going to run well into 2024. That will keep me busy on Fridays for a good couple of years. Saturdays will remain the East Riding because that's still got loads left. I've just planned the next 4 or 5, which I'm going to. So, yeah, the East Riding will be a mainstay. And then Sundays, of course, will remain a free-for-all. Now, the reason that Sundays and Thursdays are both going to be free-for-alls next year is because you might remember a few parish notice boards ago, I mentioned about trying to visit every county at least once before the end of 2023. And I think by having 2 days where I can go literally anywhere, I can possibly achieve that if I plan my trips correctly, like stay in hotels which are close to county borders, and do maybe 2 or 3 counties at a time. I could potentially do that. I mean, there is one such trip we're going on later this month where we're heading into Staffordshire, and I'm actually touching a bit of Derbyshire as well. I know we've seen Derbyshire before, but you get the kind of thing. We're right on the Derbyshire-Staffordshire border. So it's that kind of thing, just a few more times. And maybe we can have a video in all counties by the end of 23. Well done if you followed all that. And sorry if that was, repeating myself if you watched the notice board yesterday, but I'm well aware that not everybody watches the notice board and not everybody watches these live streams. So I've covered both bases there. So would you like to know some of the places that will feature? I mean, we've mentioned Cleethorpes, but we're not actually going to see Cleethorpes. Well, you're not. We might, if Nikki persuades me to sit on the seafront with fish and chips. There is a massive smile on my wife's face right now, so I'm assuming that's a yes. Might even take you to Cleethorpes if you behave yourself. So, if you want to know some of the places this will all involve, obviously Harrogate. I'll start with that because that's in my head for some reason. Most of the places around Harrogate, within the suburbs of the town, that it also includes Ripon and it also includes Knaresborough, 2 very nice places. There's in Amber Valley. There's the likes of Alfreton, which is a nice town. Don't know much about it, but I'm sure I will eventually. I've already mentioned East Lindsey. If you're doing Ripley, don't forget Butterley Station. Yes, that's in Amber Valley, isn't it? Ripley, I forgot about that. Belper is in Amber Valley as well. Almost forgot about that one as well. There's quite a few little towns in Amber Valley. I know there are people out there who've been watching me since Northeast Derbyshire, wondering when I'm going to be going there. There's plenty to get my teeth into down there. So yes, I won't forget Butterley Station. I can promise you that. So okay. I think we'll move on. I think we'll move on to the next thing. So let's see. I'll remind myself what the next thing was because I can't remember. Can you remember? Oh yes. That's the problem with this. But having the screen open in front of me, I can't see my other stuff without changing tabs. But for some reason, I haven't got the right tab up at the moment for some strange reason. So it's all preparedness, of which there is none. I do try. It's all good fun anyway. Right, yeah, Nikki's quite right. The next thing is to do with the local opinion. Now, this is something I need sort of help from you people from, because I sort of tried this a couple of weeks ago and it didn't work. So what I'm wanting to do is I want to get some opinions from people who live in these places. If you watch the Burton upon Stather episode in North Lincolnshire, I had my friend Dave, who I went to school with. He was quite happy to provide a little, couple of minutes talking about the place, what he liked about it. he's lived there pretty much all his life, so he should know the place better than I do. And that's the kind of thing I want to put in most episodes. I know the really small places I won't be able to do that, but certainly the ones that are sort of as big as Burton upon Stather, if not a little bit smaller, upwards, I should be able to get a local opinion from somebody. Now, I tried to do this with Scorby and Broughton. Basically, the day after I brought that parish notice board out, because I went out there and filmed them. They'll be coming soon, by the way. And nobody seemed to be interested. Nobody wanted to provide their opinion. I put a post on Facebook in the relevant groups, and it just got laughed at, effectively. Nobody really took any notice of it. What I'd like to sort of get an idea from you, how can I approach people? How can I approach people to do this? I don't want to be too sort of intrusive. Any ideas? Because I'm kind of blank on this at the moment. Bakewell is Derbyshire Dales. It's Derbyshire Dales, by the way. The little conversation that's going on here. It's Derbyshire Dales.
And Jamie also has asked, is North Kesteven district town such as Grantham?
No, North Kesteven is Sleaford mainly. Grantham is South Kesteven. South Kesteven, Grantham. Say, do you have any biscuits? Well, I could tempt people with biscuits, I suppose. That's one way of doing it.
Offer some free hobnobs.
Free hobnobs. There's nothing wrong with hobnobs.
For the Marines biscuits.
I better not offer any Jaffa cakes, because otherwise I might get people out of saying that they're not biscuits. I might get people saying they're cakes, which they're not, by the way. They are biscuits. They are not cakes. End of debate. Might be worth approaching local history clubs or WIs, maybe. Might have people who are interested in giving their opinion. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good idea. Do you mean by emailing them? Because I'm quite happy to email anybody if they're going to help me. I'll be honest with you. How I'm wanting to do it is either filming somebody speaking to the camera like Dave did, or sorry. Oh, well, yeah, a written piece, or record their voice so I can put it over some shots that I've taken. So it's just getting people to do it. I'm not the best at approaching people. You probably worked that out by now. We have a local historian in Brig who would help you. I could give you your contact details from my local Brig Matters monthly pamphlet. Okay, yeah, that'd be good, Helen. Yeah, if you would, that'd be great. Thank you. Because if I can contact somebody at least, interview a parish councillor. Yes, I could, I suppose. How would I go about actually talking to a parish councillor though? Because not every council has got an email address. I've found that out before.
We can only do that with the ones that you can get in touch with by email.
Yeah. It's a tricky situation because the one thing I love more than anything else about doing this is actually walking around, physically walking around. I find it quite, how should I put this? Thank you, Jamie, by the way. I find it quite liberating. Is that the right word? To do so? Write an angry email about it. Do most councils not have a website these days? Yes, they do, Norman. But I found though, as I've just said there, that not all of them have an email address. They've got a website, but they've not necessarily got an email address. Which is, the kind of thing I would like to do is like just stand somewhere in the place with the camera, with a sign or something saying, "Give me your opinion of this."
Let's get you an A-board then.
Yeah, a sandwich board, yeah. Walk around with a sandwich board. Instead of carrying my bag on my back, I'm carrying that on my back.
Saying free humps or free biscuits or whatever on the back. And on the front saying, "Give me your opinion."
Well, I mean, do you reckon that would work? Do you reckon that if I had something, on me to say, "Please, can you give me your opinion of this place?" They would. I said, most people offer, if you offer most people something free, they usually take it, don't they? Yeah. I'm taking all this in. This is stuff I didn't think of, by the way. This is very helpful. Would you or would you not want to collaborate with your subscribers?
Okay.
Yeah, actually, that would be a good idea, but it's knowing where people live. I mean, most of you are recognized by name. I wouldn't know, exactly where you live unless you told me. I'd feel much more comfortable doing it having been contacted in advance. That's just me, though. It would work in Warsaw, yes. Most churches have contact details, ask church warden or PCC members. Okay, yeah, I like that. So we've got some ideas here. How would you word the email? What would you say?
John, if you said this to me earlier on, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
I know, but I like to get people's opinion. You'd end up with every dog walker talking to you for hours, though. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So sometimes the spontaneous, approaching people randomly, you sometimes get a more rounded opinion, maybe, because people aren't expecting it, and so they say what they think. They're thinking on their feet, aren't they? You see this with interviews all the time, where people have walked like into the town centre to interview someone about. You saw it when we changed prime ministers. I mean, there were plenty of interviews where people went into the town centre and asked people, "What's your opinion on Liz Truss or Rishi Sunak?" And they were happy to give them a summary of what your project is about. Gains attention. It actually does, yeah. These are all good ideas. I can take these on board. I mean, it's going to be different for different places, like I said, because the real tiny ones, I'm not going to be able to get anyone from them. But certainly the sort of larger ones and the towns, then yeah, I probably would be able to get this kind of thing. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just agreeing with all your comments, folks. I'm just having a read of them here. Go in the pub. Hey, I never thought of that. Go in the pub. Absolutely, yeah. Oh, Nikki's smiling at that. Is this because you'll expect me to buy you a drink while I'm in there? Women. Now, to be fair, there's nothing wrong with going in the pub for a drink. I'm sure. I always like to see a pub still in business because and support it, because the amount of closed pubs I've seen just lately is astonishing. I have to admit. In fact, the other day, no, in fact, it was today. In fact, I passed a pub which has been open for as long as I can remember here in Rotherham. If anyone's in for Rotherham and you know the Joker in Bramley, it's closed down. And that's very, very recent because it's been open for as long as I can remember, and it's gone now. It's the one on Sycamore Avenue, if you don't know where it is, in Bramley. So, right. Okay. Yeah, I think going in a pub is a good idea. So we've got some ideas here. So send emails previously, walk around with a sign on me, maybe, and go in the pub. I think that's a good idea. I think that's a lot of good ideas there, folks. I will try them out. I might even try them out tomorrow, actually, in Barnet and Billerwold and Rawby in North Lincolnshire. I might try them out tomorrow. So see how successful they are, and I will report back to you. Nikki, what's next on the agenda? Because, like I said earlier, I don't have that tab up at the moment.
North Lincolnshire for now.
So while we're on the subject of North Lincolnshire, I planned out the final bits and bobs of North Lincolnshire before I came on tonight. Like I said, I know the order from here on in, what's going to be when, and I also know, of course, what the last one is going to be. And the last one in North Lincolnshire is going to be Bottisford. And if you don't know Bottisford, it's a town in its own right, but it's kind of glued to Scunthorpe. It's on Scunthorpe sort of southern, can't even say it, southern edge, and you wouldn't know where the boundary between Bottisford and Scunthorpe is if you were sort of in the area. You'd just think it was all one. Because it's the closest one to Scunthorpe, it's the easiest place to get into Scunthorpe town centre. And that is where I'd like to do the North Lincolnshire finale, the meetup which I tried to do in Selby and tried to do in Wetherby to end the lead series, which didn't go very well because nobody turned up to either. Now, obviously, on the back of those two, I did ask you all, is it worth carrying on with the finales, trying to arrange these meetups? And the general consensus was, yes, it is, but it needs to be sort of advertised more. So you can take it from me right now that the North Lincolnshire finale will happen, and obviously it's miles away yet, but this is your forewarning. It will be in Scunthorpe town centre. So yeah. Is there anybody out there who would be sort of interested in sort of pushing this as a thing in Scunthorpe? You know, sort of letting people know that it's going to happen. I can give you the date if I just open my Excel spreadsheet. Just let me keep computers warming up here. I think it's early January I'll be in Bottisford, so I'll just check it. Yeah, it'll be January the 16th. It says 15th there, but it's 16th. And Nikki will be with me because it's going to be a Saturday. It will be a Saturday, so Nikki will be with me. So, yeah, January the 16th in Scunthorpe Town Centre, we will end the North Lincolnshire series. So, would anybody like to sort of throw that out there to the local community? And oh, it's your birthday, Vincent! Brilliant. But don't you live in Langold though? That's like Worksop, isn't it? So a long way away. But if you're willing to make the trip to Scunthorpe, then by all means, come and have a go. Yes, Saturday. It is a Saturday, and a couple of people said after I asked about the Leeds and Selby failures, what day of the week I was planning to do these on, and I think Saturday probably is the best day for everybody, isn't it? Because less people work, on weekends, just the way life is, I suppose. Never mind, Vincent. Never mind. So yeah, January the 16th, Scunthorpe to end North Lincolnshire. There's some good places to come before we get that far. By the way, I've still got to do both the Killing Homes out towards Grimsby. Still got to do Cadney and Brigg, which we've already mentioned. Messingham. There's another place I'll be going to very, very soon. I know Messingham very, very well because I had a friend who lived in Messingham, who doesn't anymore. I believe he went off to the Cayman Islands, believe it or not. So he did well for himself, didn't he? So that's a long way away, finishing Cambridgeshire, Norfolk, and Suffolk. I can tell you that for a fact. That's some of the problem with living up here in the north. Even though we've got a good road network around here, and you can get to places pretty quickly, a lot of the country is below us. If you know what I mean, it's south, and so we're having to sort of look south constantly. And I know I'm concentrating more on the north at the moment, but don't worry, the south will be done eventually. And I do class Cambridgeshire, Norfolk, Suffolk as south, by the way. I draw the line at sort of diagonal line between the Wash and the Severn. That's sort of north south, right side of that line, not a straight line, like that. So.
Greggs and Pratt thing, isn't it?
Yeah, the whole Greggs and Pratt thing, yeah. Who introduced me to YouTube? I don't know, actually. mean, I knew of YouTube's existence years ago. YouTube first came out when I was still in school. I think it did anyway. So I always knew of its existence, but I didn't know you could earn money from it until, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe. And even then, I wasn't really bothered about it. And to be fair, it's like I've said before, I'm not totally bothered about earning money from it now, because I'm trying to do this thing, which is something that someone's never done before. That's the main sort of motivation behind what I do. It's not money at all. It's a bonus, don't get me wrong, but it's certainly not my main sort of focus. The money helps keep me going. It's just I'd rather do this and have people interested in what I'm doing, rather than say, "Oh, look at me, I've got loads of money," because that's just not the ethos of who I am. It never has been, never will be. There's a nice plaque in Scunthorpe Town Centre in memory of steelworkers. Okay. I didn't know that. I mean, I know Scunthorpe fairly well, but I didn't know that one. But of course, it makes sense. Scunthorpe Steelworks, we've seen that a couple of times on the channel. Are you able to get channel memberships yet? What is that, Jamie? I've heard that before, but I've not actually explored what it is. I think Nikki's going to come and join us now. Lauren's disappeared. So, I don't know what channel membership is all about.
You've seen the shadow of me taking the hoodie off. We've all just had a little strip teasing shadow. And, what do they call it?
What?
I can't remember.
Here's Nikki.
Looking as rough as a bear's arse.
I like Patreon. Okay. See, Patreon is something we've considered before, but not really taken much interest in. Hey, here's Mrs. TVI coming to join me now.
I feel like I had a COVID booster. It's knocked me for 6. I haven't worked today. It's not looking good for tomorrow. My arm hurts, and I'm just a moaning old whinge bag tonight. But here I am.
You're not working tomorrow. Come with me.
No, I'm not coming with you. I've been reading your comments because I've been watching it. Well, got it on my computers. I've been reading your comments and your feedback about the series. I'm really glad that you're all enjoying it.
You are Mrs. Popular here. Look at this.
I know.
Lots of people like to see you. I
have got a plan for an episode coming up that doesn't involve a cemetery.
Have you?
Yeah, you and I talked about it.
Did we? I may have slept since, so I don't know what this is. Oh,
Penny's dropped.
Yes, that. yes, I have slept since, so I did forget all about it.
I'm looking at doing something that, technically speaking, well, I wouldn't say it's breaking the law, I'd say it's fracturing one. And we're gonna.
It's not breaking the law.
Well, it's fracturing one. But yeah, that's going to make an interesting episode. So yes, that's going to be coming up in the next few weeks.
Yeah, it's gonna happen while we're in Staffordshire, but that's all I'm telling you for now, because I want to keep that under wraps for now.
So Victory Rose. So the plan for my TVA episodes is simply and as and when. If you've not sort of been on here before, you might not know I work full time, and I work Monday to Friday 9 to 5. I do have some times when I'm on annual leave. I do have some times where we get bank holidays off. I have one weekend in 2 which are free, because the other weekend we have additional visitors. But sometimes they don't come. That would be Andy's children. So I can only really get out one Saturday in 2, and other ones sort of by extra only, if the opportunity arises. What I will say is just to add on to what Andy was saying earlier on about hitting, all these counties, video in every county next year. occasionally we're able to sort of, instead of go local, go somewhere a little bit further afield, which is what happened a few weeks ago.
Yes, because
we had an additional day.
That's how we ended up in Cambridgeshire.
That's how we ended up in Cambridgeshire.
And Nikki made two Mrs. TVI episodes in both Stilton, and Norbourne and Haddon.
Yeah, I made 2 in one day, but then, you know, we staggered the release of them because I don't want it to be sort of all or nothing. I would sooner, you know, but the next Mrs. TVI episode will probably, excuse me, probably be early part of next week, I would have thought, once it gets edited. And
the one in Barton.
Yeah, we're going to Barton on Saturday.
Yes,
so
this Saturday we'll be in Barton upon Avon.
I'm going to quite enjoy that.
Anybody in from Barton? I mean, there's only 20 of you in at the moment. There might be. You never know. Big old places, Barton. It'll take us a while to walk around that one.
Tell me about it.
Okay.
I'm going to make sure I've got the right shoes.
Yeah, you kind of have to. Right. There's one thing I want to talk about that's left on the agenda.
Can you remember what it is?
Yes, I can remember what this one is.
Good, because I can't see it.
This is something that I've tentatively called the Take a Trip Challenge. So, what I would love to do is to make a little separate on the side series, a bit like Tales from the Village Green and Beyond the Boundaries and whatever else, called I don't know what to call it, sort of fan experiences, shall we say? Sorry, Lauren just brought Nicky a cup of tea, so didn't even ask for that.
She knows I'm off it, so
that's good, isn't it? It's good. Our Lauren's a little gem, by the way. If any of you ever come to our house and you want something doing, Lauren is the person to ask, because you'll not get anything out of Hannah or Victoria, generally speaking. I'm probably too busy editing stuff, and Nikki will be sat stitching.
Or working.
One or the other, stitching or working. So Lauren is your go-to person.
And she's fantastic.
So, absolutely. Right.
Sally, absolutely agree. Quality, not quantity. Absolutely. And, you know, I mean, I know you put out a video every day, but you're used to it by now, and they're all the same quality. For me, I'm still learning.
Yeah. Right.
Look, you've had 3 more people since I showed up. This is a good thing.
So as I was saying before, I got distracted by Lauren fetching tea. I'd like to do a little on the side series. I don't know what to call this yet. Sort of fan experiences in my head, but I haven't got a title yet. The idea is that you guys out there make your sort of own videos, generally speaking, on your phone or GoPro or whatever else you've got out there that could record video, provided it's not an old Nokia brick that looks like it's been filmed on a potato. And you go to a place that you've seen on the channel, but you don't know. Like, for example, if you live, say, in Gainsborough, and you saw one of my videos that was somewhere in Derbyshire or in the East Riding, some place that's a long way away, you take a trip. Nikki doesn't like my hands flying around all over the place. It helps me talk. You take a trip to said place and you walk around it yourself and film whatever you find of interest and then send it to me. The idea being that I can maybe put some other bits and bobs of that place in front of everybody. Bits I maybe didn't see. Maybe I didn't capture myself. Maybe you take a different route around the place.
So it's like TVI Extra, public version.
TVI Extra, something like that. So if anyone's up for doing that,
get your phones out, get your GoPros out.
Get your phones out, your cameras, whatever you've got to record. I mean, it could just be a collection of pictures. You know, you could just take pictures. You don't have to be video. You can just take pictures of whatever you find. I mean, you may well find things that I did. Fair enough.
Isn't it?
Yeah. And then I can make like a little montage of these pictures, or you know, I can put your videos together or whatever about the place you've been to and what you found. And it's kind of important. It has to be a place that you don't know, because if it's a place you do know, you'll know where all the good stuff is. You know, it's kind of a
voyage of discovery.
Yeah, it's kind of what you found when you went there. Because I'm finding myself, as I get further afield, I'm starting to hit a lot of places now that I just genuinely do not know. There are still lots of places out there that I do, because I've covered quite a lot of ground in my time. I know I'm only 38, but trust me, I've covered a lot of this country already. But now that I'm getting a bit more sort of further away from home, I am starting to hit a lot more places that I don't know. And sometimes the best bits about that is that you find things that you wouldn't expect. You find things that are surprising. You might have planned the route, to the best of your ability, but yet you still find something that just, something clicks, and you think, that's amazing. Can
I just tell a funny story?
Yeah, you can.
So Penny's comment there, if you ever get to Kettering, there's a nice little village called Burton Latimer.
Yeah, I know Burton Latimer. Yeah.
Can I tell you a funny story about this? About Weetabix. I went from a COVID job the other day. Andy doesn't know this story because we were taken over by another woman on the bus. Anyway, we're passing by this supermarket.
Oh, this story.
No, you don't know this story.
Do I not? Oh, is it another one? Oh, okay.
No.
All right. I'm going to be.
Said I've not told you.
I'm going to be quiet.
Yeah, she got. And this little old lady gets on, and we're talking like, she's sort of 4'4", little dumpy, glasses, grey hair, the lot. She gets on the bus and she's got about 4 or 5 bags for life, and each one of them has got a box of, is it like 72 Weetabix you get in a big box, or 96? The massive big boxes of Weetabix. Every one of these bags for life, she's got 1 or 2 boxes of Weetabix, and I was resisting the urge to ask her, have you had your Weetabix today? I was absolutely resisting the urge.
You know.
And then I had a woman on the bus. She went, oh, my colleague works for, my sister-in-law works for such and such. She was telling me all about her niece and nephews, which is lovely. And then she said, my sister-in-law works for the same place that I work. She's a bit like that. And I went, I work for them. She's so shut up.
Change the tune.
Because I'm definitely not stuck up. I mean, you guys don't know I'm definitely not stuck up.
Nikki likes these funny stories.
I
think that's probably one of the reasons why they like seeing you in my episodes, because you're quite funny, aren't you?
Well, I tried to be.
I know.
Remember the O2 house with all the bolt-ons?
Yes, the O2 house with all the bolt-ons. That was in Helo in Selby. If you've not seen it, video's out there somewhere. I think Helo was one of the ones I linked at the end of the Tales from the Village Green episode, actually. So yeah, because it's close by.
Damn it, Sam's asking about collaboration on an animated series. We'll have to think about that one.
Collaborate
you have
an
to
animated
message
series.
privately and see what your idea is. Message through the page and let us know what your idea is, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'll collaborate with anybody. I mean, I haven't had any collaborations yet. I know it's a YouTube thing. Some people like to do it all the time. I've seen plenty of YouTubers which.
It'd be nice if you could have got one with Noel Phillips, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he's the only other YouTuber I've met doing this. He's the guy who I met at Gamston Airport. You might remember that episode. It's the one where I went up in the plane.
Fun fact, I was watching some on YouTube, the Lad Bible Snack Wars. I was watching the Lad Bible Snack Wars, and one of them was Noel Fielding. And I had it in my head it was Noel Phillips, who Andy had met, like an idiot. But there you go.
Can't take you anywhere, can I?
No, you can't. Well, you can.
Oh, I do on the regular, actually.
Well, you can. I mean, what we were talking about next month in Derbyshire, I can actually reveal now. We know I was away on a Saturday. I wasn't about a couple of weeks ago. I was actually at a surprise Hendon. And the lady in question is actually getting married in early December. So that's why you're getting off down to Derbyshire.
Yeah. And while Nikki's at the wedding, of course, I'll be taking in a couple of Amber Valley places. If there's anybody in from Amber Valley, I can tell you which two I'm thinking of looking at. South Wingfield and, forgive me if I mispronounce this, Pentrick, which is very close to South Wingfield. So... yes, I do have Twitter at the Village Twit. At the Village Twit. So, yes. Yeah. Well, it couldn't be at the Village Idiot because someone had already taken that. Which.
So if you're following at the Village Idiot, wrong one.
Yeah, that's not the right person. That's not the right person. But even so, Twit still makes sense. A lot of people have asked me about how that name came about, journalists and that. I just genuinely can't give them a straight answer to that question because
it just seemed to make sense at the
yeah,
time, didn't it? I must be an idiot planning to do all of these villages.
Yeah, it just stuck as well. It's not something I've ever wanted to sort of get rid of and change. It's just become who I am now, and I've said it that many times. I've called myself it that many times, and I don't think I'd ever be. It wouldn't be right if I changed it now and called myself something else. I mean, what would I call myself?
Somebody says, "Oh, the so and so is an idiot," and we go, "No, it's Andy. Andy's the
no, yeah, guilty." Yeah. There's plenty of people out there who think they are, by the way, genuinely a village idiot. But you know, I think you have to be a special kind of breed to do what I'm doing. So yeah, I think we've sort of reached a natural end here.
No, we haven't. We've still got 10 minutes. It's general chit chat.
Yeah,
so it is. Questions.
Yeah, it is general chit chat time. But everything I wanted to speak about, I've spoken about
when
now.
When you want to turn them lights off, you're burning 50 pence worth of electric. Come on.
I wouldn't worry about that. Nikki. We've got plenty in the plenty of
credit in the energy account.
That's
another story.
That's another story. Yeah. I mean, energy bills, as I'm sure you know out there, people are a little bit frightening at the moment. But in some kind of weird way, where
we're in a good position.
We don't have that problem, but we have a different one, which is kind of related to it. But it's all to do with who we're with and what they think is the right way to go about, shall we say, managing our energy account, which is totally wrong.
Did you get the full-on Mrs. TVI at him?
Yeah.
He really did, and I threatened him with ombudsman and everything.
Are we going near Burton-on-Trent? No, when we go to Staffordshire, we're around Uttoxeter. We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere near to Burton-on-Trent.
News to me.
I did consider Burton. There are some good places I could have caught down there, but not on this occasion. We will of course do Burton-on-Trent.
There's a race course at Uttoxeter.
There is indeed, but we're not going to the race course, Nikki. What? What?
They've got my hair thing and everything.
Did you? Oh well, never mind. No, we won't be going to the race course. And no, we won't be going close to Alton Towers either. Brave.
That's all right. I don't mind that. I've got my fascinator and everything, and posh frock and the lot. I was expecting a day at Uttoxeter race.
But Uttoxeter is near Alton Towers.
Yes, it's near Alton Towers. Yeah.
Yes, and you're not going either.
Right, Norman. I agree that no need to change channel lane, but emphasises the need to have a clear byline if you wish to engage council successfully. Yeah. I mean, I've emailed places before, and I've thought about that, Norman, where I've tried to sort of get around that by saying, this is a serious channel here. The name is just a play on words. Sometimes people do accept it, and other times they don't. You might remember the North Kilworth episode in Harborough. I have to think for a minute what it was. You remember at the beginning of that, I mentioned Kilworth House and the theatre that I wanted to film. Mm-hmm. I sent them an email about it, and they just totally refused me out of sight, saying, no, this is not the kind of thing we want. I mean, it's their right to say no, of course.
And then there was the one that tried to charge you 200 notes.
Oh, yes. Burton upon
200
Stather.
sheets just to have a quick walk.
Absolutely, yeah. Normanby Hall Country Park. If you haven't watched the Burton upon Stather episode, I would have loved to have filmed some of Normanby Country Park and the hall and all that. I mean, I had to do it in pictures because they were quite happy for me to film. But to do so, I would have had to have stumped up 200 quid. And I was absolutely not going for that. Just for a 10 minutes worth of work.
I was definitely lost to do that. I'm Yorkshire, I'm tight.
Yeah, not a chance.
You just heard me telling her about 50p, to turn the light. So
yeah, you're not that tight. You're not that tight, Nicky. Hey, you're the one that spends the TVI pounds, I don't.
Well, yes, but I like to do that to support the local businesses, like you were just been saying about pubs and so on.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, with the TVI pounds, yes, it's the stalls at the side of the road. Yes, it's the shops, the local shops with the local produce. We've been in a butcher's shop. We've been in a baker's shop. We've been in more than one baker's shop, actually. We've been in various sort of places where there is local produce, and a pub is also the part of that, because there are a lot of independent pubs out there. The big chain pubs like your Wetherspoons and so on, they are not struggling.
No.
But the smaller ones are. We've been in a couple of small ones, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we've been in a couple of little ones.
Vincent, you're absolutely spot on, and that is my war cry.
How much?
How much? I am Mrs. Apart from Mrs. TV, I am Mrs. How chuffing much.
Yeah. So, damn it, Sam. I will have a look at your Twitter when we finish the stream, and I will get back to you.
They must have a blanket fee for all filming, TV, internet. I mean, I wouldn't mind paying a fee.
Yeah, but
if
it's got to
they
be
were
reasonable,
actually
hasn't it?
interacting and serving you up a 3-course dinner on gold plates with, served by handmaidens and all that for 200 quid. With a quick walk round and a few shots, I mean, 200 quid is definitely steep, isn't it?
It is. It is when you consider that. I mean, if you've watched that
I mean,
video,
you're not the BBC.
No, I mean,
you were the BBC.
The BBC,
yeah,
they would quite happily snap your hand off for £200, I'm sure. But
yeah.
But no, I mean, for someone like me, that's a little bit too much.
It's very steep.
And I mean, when you consider how much I put into the Burton von Stella video, it probably didn't warrant any sort of filming there anyway. But I mean, even so, it would have been nice to actually get in and have a look at it. But it's okay. It didn't matter too much.
Some you win, some you lose. I mean, your next one that you're trying to get into is a Buddhist temple.
I need to mention that I was supposed to go to Nunburn Home in the East Riding this past Friday. It was meant to be one of 5 I was doing up there. I was doing Shipton Thorpe, Hayton, Lonsborough, and Everingham. And I was meant to do Nunburn Home as well, but I didn't have time for it. But it's kind of a good thing, because there's a Buddhist center / temple thing there, and I would love to get inside that. And I hadn't emailed them before to ask, could I, have a look around, film, whatever. I totally forgot to do it. So the fact I ran out of time for it is actually a good thing, because it means I've now got a second chance to email them and ask them, can I do that next time I go up there? So that'll be good to get in one of them, because I've never been anywhere like that before. I mean, I've been in plenty of churches before and other religious buildings, but never anything to do with Buddhism. So that will be something new, provided they let me do it, of course. Because they may not. But again, it's their right.
It's another angle. I mean, if anything, if it doesn't form part of the episode, it'll make a lovely tale from the village green.
Yeah, it would. It would actually. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would make a good tales from. If I can't obviously get in and do a normal episode there. So yeah, we'll have to see. But that'll be for another time, because like I said, I ran out of time this past week. Well done, by the way, if you worked out where I was in the parish notice board yesterday. I think a lot of people did. So I'll tell you next week where I was. I think a lot of people got it just basically from the road sign, because there were that many locations on that road sign. All you have to do was look at the map and sort of work out what was sort of in the middle from that. So yeah. Oh, hello, Carmina. I wonder where you were. Just caught this last notice. It's a great idea, filming own bits for you to use. You should collaborate with above all drones.
Yeah, where he's above all drones today. He's not here.
Yeah, he's not here either. He seems to be a bit quiet today.
He's a bit AWOL today.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I say not everybody comes on every time, but it's good actually. I don't mind.
But it's
I don't
published
mind
after,
that.
so people can watch.
Yeah.
Watch the sort of comedy half hour.
Yeah. Roach Abbey's not free, Vincent. I don't think it is it?
There is parts of it that are free, I think. And
Last time we went, I'm pretty sure we paid.
I can't honestly remember. I'm not sure.
It's been a while since we've been down there, though, so it may have changed.
Roach Abbey's lovely, especially like in the summer, and there's like the little brook and what have you. It's really, really nice.
Yeah. It would have been part of the multi episode, your eons back, but
I'm just waiting to get to, where's that place?
which one?
one with the big old church and a big cemetery and a new church in Sylvia Plath.
Heptonstall.
Heptonstall. I am busting to get to Heptonstall. Ah, new name.
Ah, right. I wonder where you were. So
Yes, I am absolutely loving the idea of Heptonstall. I can't wait to get to Heptonstall. Because there's a big church that's in ruins, and then there's a new church, and there's a big graveyard, and Sylvia Plath's buried in the graveyard. So that's going to be a right Mrs. TVI episode.
yeah, it certainly will. But of course, Heptonstall will not be yet because I haven't begun that part of West Yorkshire just yet. But I will. So yeah. Right, we've been here for an hour, and unless anyone's got any burning question they want to ask,
I'm just burning up. I need some more painkillers.
It's that ring light. That's basically what's making
me hot.
It's
this COVID booster.
Okay, right. Okay, guys. I'll sign off for now, and I'll see you next month in December, which will be the last parish meeting of the year. Yeah. This year's gone quite good, and these parish meetings are always a good forum for you guys to say what you think about us and what we're doing.
A good idea hub as well, which is what we've had today.
Yeah.
So yes, brilliant ideas, and you're going to be working on them now.
Yeah, pretty much. Thanks all for coming. I'll see you next month. Bye all.
See you later, everybody.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Bye. Thanks for coming.